What's going on, everybody? It is episode 28 of the Game Room Podcast. I'm your host, Rome, alongside my co-host, Devroro.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
Doing all right?
We also have producer Jeff here with us. Producer Jeff, how are you doing? Awesome, awesome. Well, we have a really awesome show. Dev, I don't care if it's not technically, it's E3 week. We're going to be talking about all the showcases coming up. We're going to be previewing them, giving some picks on what we think we're going to see or what at least we should see. We're going to be talking about other things like what happened with Redfall and what's going on with Nintendo. But for now, let's get into the news headlines. Number one on the headlines, WrestleQuest. This is a game that we had talked about previously. This past, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about the delay. Well, we now have the launch date. It is launching on August 8th for Xbox consoles, PS4 and 5, Switch, PC, and Netflix.
I can't wait for that game. That game looks so fun.
Yeah, so they put out a new trailer with this with the announcement. It shows a lot of legends. You kind of see it here. I'm not sure if producer Jeff's playing it, but you got Jake the Snake, Andre the Giant, DDP's in there. There's a bunch of wrestling legends from yesteryear. And they talk about how you can have like managers in the game, and it kind of like adds to the RPG elements. And yeah, I'm very excited to be jumping into a wrestling RPG. I think that sounds really awesome.
I like the art style. It's cool, like pixel.
Yeah,
8-bit.
very 80s vibe.
Yeah,
which I know Jeff probably would love.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for this. It looks great. There's all kinds of just everything they're showing on this little preview looks fantastic.
Michael Duke stepped into the chat, letting us know about his surgery tomorrow at 8 in the morning. Hopefully, he will see us tomorrow night. You'll see Jeff tomorrow night. I have to work, unfortunately, but hope everything goes well, Mike. Take care, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Let's go on to number 2 in the headlines. Devroro, Netflix is working on something big. So we had talked about this previously, when Joseph Staten from Halo and Xbox joined this team. Well, now Raf Grassetti, who left PlayStation, specifically Sony Santa Monica, he was the art director for the God of War franchise.
Yeah,
he has joined Joseph Staten, making this game at Netflix. So you have someone who worked on like the lore of Halo, with the art style, the art direction of God of War,
working on something big. This is exciting
at Netflix. Like, this is really crazy. I think
I have to do some research, but I'm wondering if Netflix works like Game Pass. If as long as you have a Netflix subscription, you can play all their games on their platform, or do you have to buy the games that's on the platform? I'm not sure.
I'm kind of hoping that they do a launch outside their platform, to be honest. I'm kind of hoping that maybe they go a publishing route where like they actually put this game in more places, like kind of go the Game Pass thing where it's like, hey, you can buy Netflix and play the game for free or included.
But if you have a game that's going to be this big, I mean, it just encourages people to get.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
It's the argument of, does Xbox should they just put their games on Game Pass? But they don't.
I get that, but their first party games are on Game Pass.
Yeah, I get that.
So if you're making something that big, as big as it seems, like Halo, you got people from Halo, God of War, Overwatch, Gears, all working on something at Netflix. That draws attention.
Well, I mean, we do know, brings me to my next point, that it is multi-platform. It's a new IP. It's going to be a new world with deep mysteries and endless adventures. Along with Joseph Staten and Raf Grassetti, we know that Chaco Sani, who was the executive producer on Overwatch, and Jerry Edsall, who worked on Gears 4 and 5, are also part of the team. So this is a pretty star-studded lineup of developers, to be honest. I mean,
so you know how after Breath of the Wild came out, a lot of games came out imitated, and we called them wild games or like something of the wild. So are we gonna have like, is this Netflix of the Kingdom? Is that what we're looking at right here?
Maybe, I don't know.
Tears of the Netflix.
Tears of the Netflix.
This is what you call going all out.
Yeah.
They're swinging for the fences here, which is,
it sounds awesome. Like,
no, it does. Yeah. If it leads to great games, I'm all for it. But we will have to keep our eyes out. I mean, obviously this project is a long ways out. They're just staffing right now.
Oh yeah.
So, but number 3 on the headlines. I just kind of lumped these all together. This is going to be your Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition update. A little small one out of the way first is that South Korea has approved the merger.
Yeah,
so it's another country. Now and now for the next piece. So this was very long-winded, and I found the best tweet to kind of encompass it. So False Patents has done an excellent job covering the whole Activision Blizzard situation. And so as you can see, it was 128 tweets.
Okay.
This was a thread of 128. I read about 80 of them.
Wow.
Before I was like, there was a last tweet that kind of wraps it all up into a bow for us.
Okay.
So I'm just going to kind of run through that. So the CMA, basically Microsoft filed the appeal, and there was the hearing for the appeal to set up the appeal date.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what False Patents, Florian Mueller, had to say. It's a wrap, almost 4 hours later. The CMA is losing. I know that countless questions were asked. Please let me first get something to eat. I even had to rebook a flight to be in front of my computer in the time for the hearing. I can't answer a huge number of questions individually, but I'll try in the coming days to take a look at what questions were interesting enough to warrant some follow-up. He goes on to say he's going to do a blog post. For now, I'm exhausted, but please see that the rationality will soon prevail. And I'm excited to see the court going out of its way to adjudicate this matter swiftly, fairly, and efficiently. The CMA's performance could hardly have been more disappointing. What Microsoft said about their 500 pages of legal authorities shows that the CMA just wants to abuse the wide discretion it enjoys under judicial review standards. But the hearing has also showed that if the CAT identifies major errors, it can and will correct them. The CMA cannot possibly be interested in the hearing going forward, which is more than tentatively thought, though not 100% definitely planned for late July or early August. It's going to be a major disaster for the CMA. They should figure out a solution between now and July 18th, the key date under the merger agreement.
Okay.
So this guy, again, he does this for a living. He follows this stuff, not the gaming side, but he's a competition-focused intellectual property activist turned analyst.
And I guess we already knew that because a lot of people were saying Microsoft has answers for all of the concerns. Like, They're ready to give up stuff or change things, or like they had answers for every concern you had. They were willing to compromise and meet halfway in the middle, or even give up some.
Right.
So like, I'm not surprised.
Well, so again, I read like a lot of these tweets. Didn't read all of them, but I read most of them, and a lot of it was really like the CMA trying to make a point.
And
Microsoft either shutting it down or the judge being like, "What are you talking about?"
Okay.
So yeah, this was great news for Xbox and Microsoft and really Activision, because again, they're the
ones that kind of like they need it the most.
And then just kind of a small little update to close on it. Oh, no, that's not the right one. Microsoft's president Brad Smith will be meeting with the UK Chancellor and the CMA next week. Bloomberg is reporting that Microsoft is exploring options to ignore the UK's block and close the deal, including potentially removing Activision from the UK. So let me ask you, do you think that the UK would let it get to that point? So clearly Microsoft, there's all these other countries that have approved the deal. The FTC challenged it. Technically, Microsoft can close the deal without the FTC's approval. They don't need the FTC's approval to close the deal. But also the FTC's block is its only point is that the CMA blocked it, and they're basically fighting the CMA's argument over here. They haven't asked for anything. Judges have said, "Have you asked for things from Microsoft? Have you asked for concessions?" No, we have not talked to Microsoft yet. Judges like, why? You're clearly not doing this correctly.
Yeah.
So my question is, do you see the UK holding out to the point where Microsoft pulls Activision? So no Call of Duty in the UK, no Diablo just came out, no Diablo, no Overwatch.
No, that would be really dumb. I mean, at this point, you should throw in the towel. Like, you haven't brought much of an argument, and the arguments you did bring they were able to be contested. So why are you fighting this if you're just going to lose more teeth? You know what I mean? Like, get out of the ring now.
Not to mention that the UK government's not happy with this. Like, all the stuff we've reported on over the last few weeks, like, they're also just kind of like, we're trying to do good business in the UK, and a lot of people, including like Jez Corden, who he lives not in the UK, but he's over there, reports, and he's like, yeah, it sucks doing business in the UK, and it's just like, this doesn't help them at all. This is literally hurting the country. I know we're a video game podcast, but this is something that is like legitimately just like, it has ripples that hurts people. But we'll keep you guys updated on that. But I think things are looking pretty good for the deal. That's just my opinion. Speaking of not looking good, number 4 on the headlines. Devroro, what went wrong with Redfall?
I mean, it sounds like a lot. I'll let you read it first, and I'll give you my opinion on what I think.
So Jason Schreier this past week, he did some investigating and came up. TJ's here. What's up, TJ? Just in time for us to talk about Redfall. That's very good timing for TJ. So Jason Schreier did some investigating and found out some issues that Redfall had been having that originated from long before Xbox bought Bethesda. So Redfall, says Jason Schreier, from Xbox's well-respected Arcane Studios, is one of the year's worst-reviewed games. What happened? It's a story of unclear direction, a severely understaffed team, and a game that many devs didn't actually want to make. I would recommend going to read the article in Bloomberg. It's a good article, but I will just kind of give some bullet points that also Jason Schreier gives. Redfall started development in 2018. Arcane's Prey had been a flop. ZeniMax demanded microtransactions, and management wanted to make a game with broad appeal. It was pitched as a multiplayer Arcane game with microtransactions. You could also almost say it was pitched as a live service game, Devroro. But it was never clear what that would mean or how it would work. Arcane was always understaffed, but on Redfall, attrition had become a significant problem. By the end of Redfall's development, a whopping 70% of Arcane Austin developers who worked on Prey were no longer there, according to people familiar, as well as a Bloomberg analysis. By 2023, Redfall's microtransactions were gone, but the problems remained. Arcane leadership promised that the game would coalesce with arcane magic, but it never did. To be clear, Jason says, when I say that many devs didn't want to make Redfall, I am referring to people on the ground floor, many of whom left the company. Arcane leadership is another story. And then also another interesting tidbit is that when Microsoft bought Bethesda, many employees thought that or hoped that Microsoft would cancel Redfall or reboot it as a single-player game. However, Microsoft took a hands-off approach, letting the creators make the game they wanted to make.
Yeah.
But that was not what the creators wanted.
Which is weird because, I mean, I get ZeniMax kind of forced them into this multiplayer thing. I thought that ZeniMax wanted to make I thought Bethesda wanted to make a Arcane wanted to make a multiplayer game. You know what I mean?
Well, again, the leadership did, and that's probably why the leadership didn't. So here, I think what we're seeing here.
So why not communicate that to Microsoft? This isn't the game that we want to make.
I think the problem is, and Jason Schreier points it out, that it wasn't what the developers who were in the trenches working on the game wanted to make, but leadership wanted to make this. This is what the leadership
in Bethesda or leadership in ZeniMax? Because
that's what based off what Jason says, it seems like it might have been leadership at both. I mean, ZeniMax was like, where we want this game to be this. We're the publishing side, so we don't really care about the artistic value. We're the guys selling the product. Yeah. And Arcane Austin, their leadership, maybe leadership still wanted to follow through with this vision. Xbox comes in, they talk to the leadership at Arcane Austin, and they're like, no, this is what we're making the game we want to make.
But saying that you hope that Microsoft cancels it makes me think that you gave up at that point. You're not putting 100% into the development of this game. So of course, when it comes out, it's going to be in the state that it was. You know what I mean? They pulled out. Mm-hmm. Mentally or whatever. They weren't in it.
That's actually a great point, and that's a perspective I really honestly didn't look at it from. I mean, yeah, that's really good when you put it that way, that I'm sure there was...
If you're hoping this game gets thrown in the trash, you're not going to put everything into it.
No, yeah. If you have a defeatist mindset, you're going to be defeated. Like, that's just kind of what it is. Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great perspective there. And it's a shame to see. I think that... Look, at the end of the day, like, I think that I might be a minority in this opinion. I don't blame Xbox necessarily, the Xbox side of things, for Redfall's failures. I really don't.
It does sound like it was too late for them.
It sounds to me like Xbox was trying to do what they thought was right in terms of letting the studios make the games, and they're taking a step back and they're like, hey, make your games, make the games you want to make. Yeah. Phil Spencer has said that when he did the Kind of Funny interview. He's like, I'm going to stand by that. We want to let creators make the games they want to create. We're not going to step in and tell them to make the games that we want them to make.
I do think they have to be a little bit more hands-on. Just a tiny bit more.
I agree with that. And I think that if some changes at Bethesda need to be made, because keep in mind...
Not even in the creative part. It's just like maybe just the functionality part.
No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, let's be realistic. Let's look at Bethesda. Like, take the Starfield hype out. What have they put out? They've put out Redfall, which was going to be, they basically put out Fallout 76, but in a Redfall setting, in the Redfall setting. Like that was what they wanted to do. I mean, it wasn't an MMO necessarily, but you know what I mean? It was a live service game. And it's just, I'm hoping that in the future we kind of see Bethesda kind of go back to its roots with Microsoft back at the helm.
But on the other side of that, when you hear about the vision, even when you see the vision, even though it's not fully baked, when you see Redfall, and you kind of have this thought of what it could be, I don't want them to throw away their multiplayer dreams, especially if that's something that they want to get into, especially with a studio like Arcane. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think. I think the game itself has to be better before you try to monetize it with like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's where ZeniMax messed up. They were like, what if we made a game with live action services or not live action, but live services and microtransactions
and not worry about
multiplayer
and we have this argument back and forth. I think that the game it's not that the game suffers, it's that the game has to be good. The game is the pillar that lets all that money come in.
Right.
We talked about earlier Diablo 4, full of microtransactions. It is a live service game technically. But the game itself is good. The core game is good, so like people are going to spend money on it.
Yeah, and I think that's
$25 on a horse armor.
And I think that's really where it kind of does lie with these live service games, and it's why I have so little faith in them, is because so many of them are made. No, they're made for where like the foundation is live service.
Yeah.
It's not let's make a great game and then support it.
Yeah,
because that happens. You're right. That 100%. Happens. And you know what? I don't consider that a live service game. I consider a live service game to be a bad game because that's what I look at, and we can disagree with that, but. At the end of the day, if you lay down the foundation and the foundation is live service, then you're a live service game. If you're a game that comes out and it's like, okay, well, we're going to continue to support this video game that we've made, and this game could stand, like, they could say no more content's coming to this game, and the game would still stand on its own legs, and that's what makes it not a live service game.
But like games like, when we talk about Destiny, Destiny's like a one that we bring up all the time. Destiny's kind of was built to be a live service game. You know,
real quick over the chat, the Coog is stopping by. He says, hello.
Hey,
what a time to be a video gamer and a pro wrestling fan. Thanks for stopping by, Coog. Yeah, I don't know. It sucks to see, and luckily I feel like I have a good feeling that this will be the last like big negative Xbox story we're talking about here before we get into some good Xbox news moving forward.
I hope so.
I feel confident.
Another thing is, if they really were trying to like bury this game, they chose a good date to put it in. You know what I mean? I think that's another reason they didn't push the date out, because they knew Zelda was going to come out the week after and Star Wars the week before. I think they wanted to bury this game.
It is ironic that they put it out when they did. Like, I mean, it does make you wonder if they had an inkling of an idea, because we were talking leading into it, like, man, it's sandwiched between Star Wars and Zelda.
It almost sounds like it's
E3 comes
on purpose now.
Yeah, now
reading all this.
Yeah, now it's kind of like,
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully, I have a good feeling that this is the end of the. I mean, obviously, all companies have bad stories, so it's not like the last ever. But I feel like the momentum is going to swing back, especially with this Sunday coming up. Let's get into some news about AEW Fight Forever. Let's see here. So we got a few reveals. The pre-order bonus for the game is the Matt Hardy pack, which is going to feature 2 of the many faces of Matt Hardy. That's regular Matt Hardy and broken Matt Hardy. They also announced the content of the Season 1. I guess it's the Season Pass for Season 1. Let's say that. And it is the FTR pack, the FTR Revival pack, which features FTR plus mini games, Join Us, and Death Race X. The Limitless Bunny Bundle features the Bunny and Keith Lee, plus minigames MJF Car Thrash and Sloth Sling. And the final pack is the Hookhausen Very Handsome, Very Evil pack, which features AEW wrestlers Hook and Danhausen. Now, AEW also did announce that there will be an Elite Edition that will be coming out on the same day. Actually, there's technically an early access period of 24 hours, meaning the game will be available on Wednesday, June 28th. The Elite Edition was priced digital only for $80. However, last I checked on both the Xbox and PlayStation stores, it was on discount for $72. So for $12, you're getting all that Season 1 content. And I'm going to click on the Steam thing real quick to see if it shows me the price. Oh, man. You can see I never go on Steam because I don't know where the price is on Steam. I don't see it. Oh, whatever. I'll click on Xbox because I can read their storefront pretty easily. I want to see if it's still on sale for everyone. see. Yeah, it's still on sale, $72. I'm going to assume PlayStation is the same. So make sure you get those pre-orders in. Unfortunately, I'm buying physical, so I will not be getting the Elite Edition. But it's a great deal for people that don't care. So some other stuff, we got kind of a confirmed roster. Kind of read through the list. It's a lot what you would expect. I mean, I'm excited. It's a lot of the AEW's roster, which I think producer Jeff should be showing on screen right now. I'm excited for this game. Can't wait. It's going to come out the end of June. All right. Producer Jeff, who are you going to play? What's the first match you're doing in Fight Forever?
CM Punk versus Chris Jericho is going to be my first match.
I'm going to do CM Punk versus Cody.
Cody, yeah, I figure yours would be Cody.
I'm just going to play this game for 2 years and just beat up Cody Rhodes for 2 years. That's
right?
the plan.
That's kind of how I feel too.
I wonder if I could do a tag match where I face 2 Cody Rhodes. Like, that's what I'm hoping.
You probably can in some weird way.
I'll probably create another wrestler and it'll be Cody, but it'll have a mask. It'll be Fuego too.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, let's move on. Deborah, some news out of your wheelhouse. Number 6, the MetaQuest 3 VR headset has been announced. It is launching this fall for $499 for the 128 gigabyte version with the highest resolution display, next gen Snapdragon chipset. That sounds really cool. Yeah. It's just a cool name. More than 2 times powerful as Quest 2, 40% slimmer with redesigned controllers. Deborah, tell me about this. What's the vibe on this?
I'm very excited. Yeah, so that Snapdragon, the new Snapdragon is, I think it's going to be the first one to come out with that new Snapdragon chip. So it is more powerful. It's already been tested. Mm-hmm. So that's very exciting. Yeah, the higher resolution is only about 20%, so it's not really noticeable. But yeah, that's everything about it is still really, really exciting. We don't know how the controllers track. We know in the Quest Pro, which are $300 controllers, uses cameras. But
wait, the controllers are $300?
No, so on the Quest Pro,
okay,
they have $300 cameras, controllers because there's cameras on it. This one, I think it uses AI and it just predicts where it is, so you can use it behind your back and everything, like the camera one.
Wow!
But it makes it a lot cheaper. So yeah, everything about this is very exciting. I knew it was going to be about anywhere between $400 to $600.
Okay.
I already have enough saved for it, kinda. So this is the one. And if I am getting a headset this year, this is the one I'm getting.
Okay, so what's the percentage that you think you're going to have this by the end of the year? This one specifically.
I think it's a 80% chance I'll have this at launch. Whenever pre-orders go up, I'll probably pre-order and everything. I'm very excited for this.
Okay. I'm excited for you to get it too, because you're going to bring it over and we're going to play it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think we didn't talk about it, but Meta had their gaming direct.
They did have a showcase. I didn't get to watch it, though.
Yeah, so I watched it. It was underwhelming, I guess. VR. I think VR in general, their game showcases aren't there yet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want to get a PSVR 2 so bad. I really do.
Yeah, I do still think. I think between the MetaQuest and the PSVR, I think those are the 2 headsets that are
Yeah, I think if I buy one, you buy the other.
Yeah,
we'll even out. We'll just play them both.
And there are games that are crossplay. I want you to get Demio, and we'll play. We can play Demio together. It's a really cool game. It's like a tabletop D&D type game, and it's just really cool.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to us talking about some VR later this year. But for now, let's get into number 7 of the headlines. Final Fantasy 16, Devroro. Square Enix is slightly panicking over the pre-order numbers.
That's such a good thing, I guess, on their end.
No, it's not a good thing. They're panicking that the pre-orders are low.
Oh, low. Okay.
Low, yeah, they're panicking.
I thought it was too high.
Oh, no. Oh. So, basically, Imran Khan comes out and says that Square Enix is slightly panicking over the pre-orders. And I'm not surprised. And here's the thing. And I kind of want to get your take on this. So, Final Fantasy is traditionally a RPG, turn-based RPG, right? Mm-hmm. I know that some of the later games have not been turn-based, but generally speaking, it's an RPG franchise. I wonder if by Square Enix, because Square Enix, we talk about Square Enix all the time, how they're chasing these trends, they're going for the NFTs, they're going for all these things.
Yeah, a lot of.
And a lot of it's not great. I wonder if them if this is them chasing a trend that's going to alienate their core audience. Because we've talked about Final Fantasy 16. I think it looks like a great game.
Mm-hmm.
This is not me saying it's going to be a bad game. But what I'm saying is, could this be a game that the people that have been playing Final Fantasy for all these years have lesser, or maybe for some people even no interest in? I mean, pre-orders are low. That's kind of what I get out of that. I mean, I feel like if people wanted to play a Devil May Cry, they would buy a Devil May Cry.
I get that.
But so what are your thoughts on this?
I don't think that, only because they've been doing action games for a while now, like 10 plus years. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they just switched off from turn-based to this, you know, like,
yeah, but I would push back and say, well, these other Final Fantasies like 15, I think 13 wasn't turn based, was it?
No,
it wasn't.
But people love those games too.
But I would say that there was still enough RPG elements where it was really clear. I feel like everything I've seen in this game, maybe I haven't watched everything that's out there about this game, but what I have seen, it looks like God of War, which isn't bad, but that might not resonate with what some people are looking for.
I do think watch it, because even though it is an action-based game, watch stuff you can.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the gameplay stuff that they show, it gives me vibes of a PS2 PlayStation, like a PS2 Final Fantasy. And maybe you'll see what I mean if you watch, like, just watch some gameplay stuff. You'll see what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think another reason I don't think so is because the remake did so well. Final Fantasy 15, I believe, did really well. Everything I've seen about this just looks better. I don't know. I don't think that's the reason why.
It's funny because so I'm looking at these comments on this article, right? And a few of them are actually saying that I mean, I don't know how much you probably disagree completely, but like making Final Fantasy exclusive to PlayStation will be bad long term for them. Someone's like, I guess we don't really know how well 15 did on Xbox, but makes sense making exclusive would be tracking below a multi-platform game. Do you think that maybe that could be another explanation? Maybe it's not
that does seem like a more valid reason. The only thing is, though,
when they project that better, or do they overestimate or underestimate the Xbox audience at that point?
Yeah, I do think that
including you would also then be guilty of underestimating this Xbox audience, which I have said this core Xbox audience, they do want JRPGs too. That's not all they want, but they want them as well.
I guess the only thing I have to counter that is that the remake did so well. They sold a lot of copies of the remake.
And the remake was only 7.
I get it, but it's a remake and it's an action-based remake of a turn-based game on one console.
But I would
you know what I mean?
I get that, but I would just
I feel like that would alienate the core audience even more.
I disagree. I actually think the opposite. I think that would be the better way to do it, because at the same time, you still have that iconic imagery and the iconic things in the game, such as Cloud Strife and Midgar, etc., etc., etc.
I guess.
It has that, like, you know what I mean? So that it can lean on and still bring in that Final Fantasy VII crowd. And for them, it's just a new perspective on a game that they love.
I guess. Another thing I'll say is I'm not worried about this game being bad. Like, I think when this game comes out, it's going to be, when we talk about the end of the year stuff, and they're going to be what's the game of the year, I think it's going to be Tears of the Kingdom. But this is going to be one of the games nominated. You know what I mean? I have no doubt that this game is going to be.
Oh yeah, again, I don't think this game is going to be a bad game. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a great game.
And I think the sales are going to be fine too. Like, I don't think. I mean, pre-orders are low. I don't think it's going to suffer. Honestly, if I'm being honest,
I don't know. I'm really intrigued in seeing where this story goes. This is, out of a lot of the stories on the headlines this week, this is one that I really want to follow, because I am fascinated to see how Final Fantasy 16 performs. Number one, as an exclusive, console exclusive, and number two, is a game that is changing up the genre pretty deeply.
We'll have to see. I'm not worried about the game, and I guess making it exclusive can impact it a bit. Maybe I did underestimate the Xbox audience. But
maybe you did. Maybe you should apologize.
Yeah.
Maybe you should. You know. I'm just saying. Oh, sorry. Go
ahead. I don't know. But I agree that Diablo 4 is going to be up there. I've seen a lot of good stuff, and like I said, I'm only getting like 3 or 4 games this year, and Diablo 4 is going to be one of them. I'm very excited for it. I'm doing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, I did see a lot of people switch over to 4. Actually, I see people
Yeah,
go
but to be
back and
fair,
forth.
that's how engagement works, though.
Yeah,
To be
yeah, you want to
fair,
play
I
the
mean,
newest game.
it's the newest game, so people are going to look and as a streamer, you want to be playing what's going to get you some.
I do think it's going to be like a very. I don't think Tears of the Kingdom is going to pick up every award. I do think it's going to have Game of the Year. I don't think it's going to get everything else. Like some games just sweep the floor. I don't think it's going to do that this year. With all the games coming out, like you have this, I think Final Fantasy is going to be up there, like I said. Then you have Starfield as well, which like I have my hopes high for. So I don't know. I think the end of the year stuff's going to be pretty exciting.
It's going to be a really fun cycle this year that we're going through. TJ in the chat says that he would more or less agree with you, Dev. Action games tend to do really well. I wouldn't put the sales down to the change. TJ also says the issue that he's seeing is Square's accountants are not good, probably. They've factored the Xbox fan base into this. Sorry, this heart on YouTube chat is so weird. Into this, so the lack of pre-orders is based solely on not enough PlayStation fans pre-ordering.
Yeah, I think like you said, when you mentioned the Xbox audience, I do think that is a
people slept on the Xbox audience. And so there was this funny story that we didn't cover last week. I don't know if you heard about it, but I don't buy that it was like a legitimate story that actually went down this way. But so they announced this Inspector Gadget game, right? Mm-hmm. And they were like, it's coming to PlayStation and Steam or PlayStation and PC with no Xbox SKU. And Xbox fans were like, why is this not coming to Xbox? And I don't think that everybody that got upset about it are going to buy this game, but I think that there was a general frustration in the Xbox fan base that like they're tired of seeing these games skip their platform when they have an interest to play these games.
I get that.
And I think again but maybe this headline changed your mind a little bit. I will sit here and die on this hill that on the Xbox console, in the ecosystem, there is the fan base, the core audience. They do want these games. They want JRPGs. They want to play games made in the East.
And I think that frustration is, and this is the counter argument. That's kind of the goal. If you want to sell your console, you put stuff on it that only your console can get. And then the PC market, of course, but like. That's competition, you know what I mean? And I think in the long run, it's good for, Microsoft's going to start making stuff just for them, but it's going to make better games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need that competition, and I do think I don't slap Sony on the wrist for that. I think it's a smart move. It's probably expensive, but
yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. Number 8 on the headlines. EA Sports. So EA Sports, I don't know if you know who they are, Devroro.
It's in the game.
Yeah, it is in the game. So they put out ports of the previous year's sports game with updated rosters every year.
Yeah.
And I think that somebody at EA Sports was like, wait a second, we got to shake things up. We got to make these games better.
How'd they make it better?
Well, EA Sports has agreed to a deal with Nike that will bring NFTs to EA Sports games. Electronic Arts and Nike have reached a deal that will see Nike NFTs make Nike NFTs. Not even like okay, like, oh, you like the Eagles? Like, here's an Eagles NFT. No, Nike NFTs.
Yeah.
Make their way into future EA Sports games. The virtual assets will be created by Nike's Web3 marketplace platform .swoosh. Nike's new partnership with EA Sports will look to build new immersive experiences and unlock brand new levels of customization within the EA Sports ecosystem, Nike said in a press release. In future EA Sports titles, EA Sports and Nike plan to make select swoosh virtual creations available, allowing members and players unique opportunities for self-expression and creativity through sport and style. Ooh, almost slipped there. Almost said, but
I have like a so NFTs have kind of flopped across the gaming market
completely.
Like, yeah,
I love to see it. I hope they all fail. I hope every single thing on the NFT fails miserably. I stand by it. I don't care.
What I will say, I don't know about either way whether I want it to fail or not. I do think that this is probably going to do okay, especially in games like 2K.
Oh yeah, no, the mindless drones who don't understand that Madden is literally the same game every single year. Like, I love Madden. I love the gameplay of Madden. I used to buy them, but it's like I got to a point where it's like it's the same game every year. In fact, they actually have been getting worse. They get buggier. They take features away.
I think that this NFT Nike deal is going to do pretty well in 2K specifically.
Well, 2K is not EA.
Oh, okay.
But
oh yeah.
It would be Madden, and they have a soccer game. It's not FIFA anymore.
Yeah,
it's just I think
sports club or something like that.
It's football club, but
Yeah,
it's soccer club.
yeah.
Let's just call it soccer club for the sake, because it is soccer, in fact. TJ says Andrew Wilson, the EA CEO, is a genius. Ultimate Team is gold, and they're so good at making money. I'm not a sports fan, but got to give him respect. Look, in terms of making money, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Like,
completely.
It's not even that. Like, sports fan aside, like, I don't play sports games really, and I obviously I don't like NFTs, but I do think this is
it prints money.
It's a good idea.
We have we
just hate it.
We have Coach Nick in the community, and he just does the Madden Ultimate Team stuff. And like, look, I'm not going to tell the guy how to enjoy his time. I think that stuff is a ripoff. You're like, that's just me personally.
And like, I'm not on the side with you where like I hate NFTs. Like, I'm still in the middle because
I just don't think there's a good way to properly utilize them in the gaming sphere that doesn't rip off consumers.
I get it.
And I think by focusing on them, you're basically prioritizing, which they are a business. Video games isn't it's a business.
Yeah.
But at that point you're prioritizing a product over making sure that the product is good. You know what I mean?
So I guess but there is something cool if you play multiplayer games. If multiplayer games is your like your go-to when you play a game, you sit down and play a game, there is something cool to know that like I have something that only 500 other people have. You know what I mean? Like,
I just don't feel that way.
I mean, you don't feel that way, but
I feel that
you lean towards single player experiences.
But not.
I think
but no. Like, my thing is with multiplayer, and I don't mean to cut you off, but with multiplayer, it's like I enjoy a great multiplayer game. But if something's in the game, I want it to be obtainable, so it's something for me to work towards. I don't want it to be like, wow, that guy's got a really cool skin. Well, he was one of the 500 guys that hit a button on the marketplace.
What about games that are so large that you don't even plan to get everything? Like, think of maybe World of Warcraft. When you sit down and play World of Warcraft, your goal isn't to get everything in the game. It's too large. It's not even like so. Like, if there's an item in it that's only like there's only 300 of this item, and you have one of it. Maybe it's a mount. There's only 300 of this mount that you get. Like, I guess there's kind of pride into it. Maybe if you work for it.
Well, so,
I don't know.
Well, so let's put it this way. Let's say you you like games, obviously, and you're playing games, but this one game you just didn't get around to playing. The game's been out for like 2 or 3 years at this point. But like you're like, you know what? It's on sale right now. It's like $30 on Amazon, whatever it is. I'm gonna take the plunge. I'm gonna buy this video game, And you go on there and like you see like these cosmetics. You're like, wow, these are really cool. How do I get those? It's like, oh yeah, no, sorry, you had to be here 3 years ago. So like it sucks to suck, man.
Well, so no, if the game is still
have fun.
If the game is still active, you can. I mean, it's a money thing, and I know you don't like this, but like, you can probably just buy it off of them on a resale thing. You know what I mean?
I don't like that. I would just always say,
no, you don't like it, but I'm saying it's something that it's. I can see the value in it in multiplayer games, especially long-term multiplayer games such as Overwatch. Maybe not Overwatch. Fortnite. Fortnite's a good example where when they one day do NFTs, because I can see Fortnite heading in that direction. I can see it blowing up. I just think
creating the illusion of physical ownership in the digital realm, I think it's just a swing and a miss for me.
I get it.
It just doesn't. For me, it's like if I buy a video game, I want to be able to
physically. Yeah,
I want to be able to obtain anything that game has to offer, and the NFT concept, like that's why I'm more okay with DLC in a traditional sense, where it's like, hey, do you like that armor piece? Well, it's on the marketplace for $2. Like, okay, I don't like that, but I prefer it because at least I know it's there. If I ever like look at that armor, I'm like, hey, wow, I really like this armor. I want to spend money on the game.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I understand the argument where it's like, hey, there's that sense of pride of owning something that's rare, but
to me, I think it makes sense mostly in large multiplayer games.
I just don't see the appeal.
I think
creating scarcity off something that doesn't need to be scarce, it's a really kind of gross money making tactic, and it doesn't vibe with me.
I think
that would be
so
like,
think about it like your first four figures.
So it's like, right, hold on. So like, okay, Five Nights at Freddy's the collection, because we just grab games off the wall. Like, let's say that this game was available digital. It is available digital on the Xbox Showcase, right? Or Showcase Marketplace.
Yeah.
How dumb would it be if you went on the Xbox Marketplace and they were like, oh, sorry, we're sold out of digital copies of this game?
I get that.
It makes no sense.
I get that, but
no sense.
I get that because it's digitally. But the line of digitally and owning, like you can own something digitally in today's world. It's 2023. You can own something digitally. So like your first four figures, when your first four figures, when they put out a number, you're like, I have to get that. There's only so many of these that they're going to make.
Well, because it's a physical statue.
Yeah, but like somebody who lives in a multiplayer game, somebody who plays Destiny, Fortnite, World of Warcraft, somebody who's into that game, but it's like their second life. You know what I mean?
I get that.
If they can own a mount that's there's only so many of them, and that they have value that they can resell it. I think that's where NFTs come in.
I get that. You really do. But at the end of the day,
I get that it doesn't agree with your sense of you don't like digitally owned things. You don't really believe in that yet.
I don't think I think you say digital ownership is a thing in 2023. It absolutely isn't. You own the license to use something, but you don't own a digital copy of something. I had a 3DS that broke, right? And this was a few years ago, but it was it was a 3DS that broke, and I lost all my digital games on there. And I bought them. I paid for them. Well, they were gone.
That's because Nintendo is really crappy. Like
I get that it's not a great example, but I'm just saying in general, when the licenses for things run out on a digital space, like that's it. They're gone. Like you may have them on a hard drive somewhere.
No, I get like those multiplayer games I announced. They can all one day go out of service.
PT, PT's gone. Like I know. Again, I'm bringing up years old examples, so it may not be super relevant, but it's just you don't own it. You can say you own it, but you don't own it. You don't. You flat out don't. It could disappear into the servers and be gone forever someday.
So like another thing is you can have a game where your content, like your content creators, you can have content creators in a massively multiplayer game who like maybe they buy a license, they buy like a temporary license to, hey, I made this shirt, I want to put this in your game, only 500 copies. Now like, hey, this is a limited edition Broken Tables podcast shirt, come get your copies. And it kind of works like real merch in a video game setting. Maybe you make some money off of it, but like it doesn't have to be finite. And the fact that it isn't finite makes it a little bit cooler for people who own it. I think
I hear your argument. I totally understand what you're saying.
I think there is a market for it in large multiplayer games. That's all I'm saying.
Which doesn't click with me. I get it. I get the appeal too. I understand 100% the conversation. We've had this conversation many a times.
Yeah.
It just
I think it takes some of the weight off the back of a game creator, especially if you can put other content in.
I'm not saying we don't have that content available. I'm just saying why make it limited.
I get that too.
Like it's like the base idea of owning a JPEG on the internet. It's like I own this. It's like, well, no, I just took a screenshot of it, so I own it. Like it's stupid.
Yeah.
Anyone that like, I'll just say this, and producer Jeff, I know you make money in this sense in some ways. I think anyone that is willing to spend money on a digital image on the internet is fucking stupid.
No, I get that.
I'm sorry. I just need
the thing
to
is
say
you have to
that.
understand is it's a whole economy in a certain sphere. So like I keep using World of Warcraft as an example. If you have 500 mounts and they're limited and you want to resell it, now there's an economy built around that. Now there's supply and demand around that mount, and like you do that a bunch of times, and now you have a self-sustaining game essentially. You know what I mean? Like a money-wise in the game. Yeah,
I get what you're saying. Why don't you go and read TJ in the chat real quick? My chat's acting up on my phone for some reason.
Yeah, he said, I think digital copies of a game being sold out isn't great, which I agree with you on that. But digital copies of an item is perfectly fine for a marketplace, an ecosystem actually, but you don't need NFTs for that though. So I agree with both of you. Sorry to clarify, a limited supply of digital products in an in-game store is fine. It's good for the marketplace.
Absolutely.
So we have games that like do that. Like there's pre-order bonuses that you can only get when you pre-order the game. You know what I mean? Like
sure.
Or like even in Pokemon, like if you on certain days, if you go to a GameStop and turn on your thing, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I get
Like,
that.
so there's limited supplies of things, but now you're able to resell it and there's a value to it.
Well, so real,
Mhm.
so real quick, just a counterpoint, Jeff, before we move on. Jeff, for me, Jeff's argument went out the window in the first two words when he said he's like, it's not digital, but, and then I was like, okay, well then we can just cut it off.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
absolutely, and
yeah.
I understand how supply and demand work. I get it, but the problem is at the end of the day, all like the example you're using, Jeff, of a physical poster makes all the sense in the world because it's a physical item that it makes sense that you can only make so much. Making every single poster does have a cost to it. It does have these things to it. You're talking about digital keys that you could just generate.
But for some people that means a lot to them. Like especially in a long multiplayer game like that, you can go around and show off like, yo, that guy has the gun that you could. There's only 500 of those. Like that's awesome. It's not a pay to win type of thing. It's a
Sure.
cosmetic.
Look, again, I understand that some people like it.
I
I'm
get it.
just
You
saying
don't
from
like
my
it.
perspective.
No,
But yeah,
yeah,
again,
I get it. I get it.
look, man, everything I talk about is completely subjective. That's just my opinion, man.
I get it. I get it. I
But
don't think you're ready to live in a more digital world, and I get it.
no, I'd be
I
okay
don't
with
think I.
living in a digital world, I guess. But I mean, I just think it just doesn't.
I don't think you do.
I think digital scarcity is just weird. It
I
just
get.
doesn't make sense to me.
I
It
get
just
it.
it seems like a way for people to make money
I
and
mean, it
like
is
kind of
though.
screw over the consumer. But that's just yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It just
It can be used that
look, and
way.
here's
It
the
can
thing.
be used
Here's
that
the
way.
thing. Again, and I said it earlier, probably like 5 minutes ago, because this is going really much longer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
I understand that the whole point of everything is to make money. The whole reason they make the video game period is to make the money. I'm not saying that's not the case.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you don't want to screw over a customer. Like if I'm for example, right? And this happens to me with even getting pre-orders for things, some rare things, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, let's say there's this game I love, and I love this game. I don't know. Let's just say it's Call of Duty for the sake of it. And I love Call of Duty. I'm online every day, playing, logging in with the boys, getting dubs on a good battle royale. Again, this is a fictional world. And like I just love it, and I'm all about it. And like they announced that there's this shirt that my character can wear, or like a gun skin. Let's go with gun skin because I think that's better fitted. And this gun skin, and it's only gonna be 200 people, and the first 200 people get in. The rest, well, that sucks to be you. It's like what if I'm working? What if I'm at work?
Like I think, like you said,
the pre-order bonus, you're talking about you have months in advance to pre-order this game if you want to. When you find out about this bonus, I could find out about this limited run of $200 of a digital skin, and still miss out on it. If it's something I really want, I could still miss out on it. I think that's really weird.
I'm gonna say something you're not gonna like, but you said it earlier. It sucks to be you. It when you put that out there. There's only 200. Imagine the game. People are gonna log onto that game and try to get it. You're gonna have a spike in players. It's going to create excitement around the game. There are going to be people who win, people who lose. Even if you got the shirt, there's someone else who didn't. It's
yeah, but
limited.
you can generate more revenue by having it available for everyone who wants one.
It's just a skin. It's not going to help you shoot better. It's just a skin.
Yeah, sure.
At the end of the day,
again,
and the third thing, you can buy it off of someone. That's in this case scenario. We're talking about NFTs or like reselling something. You can go out and spend if you really want it. Buy it off someone. Yeah. Yeah.
I would also counter argue that if you're sitting there on the queue and you're there when it goes live and you hit the button and it sucks to be you because you just don't get it, like
Yeah.
that doesn't matter how hardcore you are. Like that's just the server. That's just how it works.
But also, it's like that's going to ruin your day, and then what? Tomorrow you'll be fine. You didn't get the skin.
Well,
You're
I mean,
done.
sure.
It's like it's not that big of a deal as long as it's stuff that's like if there's ever NFTs where it's like pay to win, that's a whole nother topic or whatever. But if right now it's mostly cosmetic. Nike, it's Nike, it's shoes, it's t-shirts, it's shorts.
Yeah, I get that.
So no one's really missing out if you don't get it. You know what I mean? So And TJ brought up something about battle passes do it, but a lot of games coming out are letting you replay older battle passes, so you don't really miss out on anything.
But again, that's what I'm talking about. That's okay because that's getting rid of the digital scarcity. It's saying, hey, here's something that you can earn, you can work towards it. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
So like Halo lets you play old battle passes, so like you don't really miss out on any of the content,
and that's fine.
Yeah.
Again, is it a big deal? No, it's not, but it's still how I feel about it. So yeah, you're correct. No, if I missed out on a weapon skin, I would be like, well, all right.
I think for me personally, I think for smaller games, I think it sucks. I think for large multiplayer games, I think it's kind of something that I think is cool. I know it's like it could be stressful, especially if you really want something and it's like, oh, now I'll never be able to get that.
I would at least say
I think there's something cool about that.
I would at least say, because again, it's about digital, and if you want to do that, like, okay, so if you want to create that surge and that supply and demand, I would say that go off a time window. Don't go off of an amount of limited digital keys. I think that's a much more acceptable way to do it, because even Jeff said, like, oh, for the 24 hours, it's available. You know, like, that's fine. I think that's fine.
And if you miss it, what if there was an option, hey, you can pay this person $20 to get the thing that you missed? Because
I would not do that.
I mean, not you, but do you think that should be a good enough option? Like,
no, I don't think that. I think it's weird.
That's where we disagree.
It's a digital item. I don't know. It doesn't.
I mean, people pay for digital items all the time. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right now, you have to sell whole accounts to do it. And I think we're moving towards an area where Jeff could one day put that skin on the market and someone will buy it. Some crazy fan will buy it and he'll make some money off of something. I guess so. You know what I mean?
Creating digital scarcity, like, the problem is that I'm looking at it from the core level. Like, you're looking at it how the system works, and it makes sense. And like, sure, a marketplace style setting for anything makes sense because a marketplace makes sense, like, period. But it's like, for me, I was like, well, I look back on the core of like, well, what is it that they're selling? It's like, that's just, to me, that's just, I don't vibe with it.
Another thing is that when they put these up, for example, the Nike thing, it's going to be NFTs, is going to be limited. By the time they run out, when they sell out, they've made the money they're going to make. All the money that's being made after that is between the fan base.
So I'm just going to say this, and I'll close on it because we do need to move on.
Yeah.
I'll just close on, there's a reason why NFTs are failing across the games industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll move on.
Absolutely.
So clearly I'm not alone on this.
Look at the games that they're being attached to.
Well, yeah.
Again, none of those games are large multiplayer games.
Anyways, let's move on. Number 9 on the news headlines. Got an update from Bend Studio, which is the developer of Days Gone. And it's kind of on brand with what we're hearing a lot from PlayStation these days. Bend Studio goes on to say, as part of the PlayStation Studios family, we promise to continue bringing you quality experiences that aim to leave an everlasting impact with you. As of today, we are currently working on a new IP that includes multiplayer and builds upon open world systems of Days Gone, but brings you a whole new world that we are extremely excited to craft for you. We cannot wait to reveal it to you when the time is right.
Okay.
I think that this was I don't know why it was a weird statement for me. I don't know. I guess because like everyone was kind of dunking on the PlayStation Showcase and like where was all the first party studios.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's interesting that once again it's just another PlayStation Studio saying, "Don't worry, we're making a multiplayer game."
I mean, we know that. I think we're well aware that in the next couple of years, Sony is going to put out a lot of multiplayer games. That's
a lot of multiplayer.
They're leaning towards that, and I don't want to judge them just yet. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting to see the first 2 or 3 games they put out, because if the first 2 or 3 games they put out are Redfall-esque, then I'm going to judge them heavily. But if Sony's some of their first party stuff is like they're really good with their first party stuff, and I know they're not used to multiplayer. I know that's more of an Xbox thing. Mm-hmm. So I just have to wait to see what they put out, because you can have something multiplayer, microtransaction, and all that stuff, and still be really good narratively.
Sure.
So but it is. I get what you're saying. It is very worrying.
It continues to be very concerning.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Number 10 on the headlines. This is technically a 2-parter, but I put them together as one because I have a theory about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, number 1 on this number 10, Devroro, it finally happened.
Yeah.
The game of our generation, of our lives, has been announced. A game that has rumored to have been in development longer than Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, that's insane, first of all.
And so Nintendo does this weird thing where they make announcements at 9:00 at night Eastern time, which makes it all the better. And I feel like they probably coincides with Japan time. I feel like that's what it is. But Nintendo has announced everybody 1-2 Switch is releasing on the Nintendo Switch this month on June 30th. Devroro, how many digital copies have you pre-ordered since digital scarcity is something that you don't really care about?
None yet, but it sucks because 1-2 Switch, the first one that came out with the launch title.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad game. I think it needed a little bit more. It should have been a pack-in. It should have been a pack-in, I agree. Or at least like a $20, $30 game. I don't think it should have been a full price game. But it was fun to play, and even now it's still fun to play in a party setting.
I just keep staring at this horse head.
Oh yeah.
I keep staring into it,
and then
the void stares back at me.
You talk about how long it took them to be in development. I think it's because of the phone integration of the.
So here's the interesting.
I don't like. I read about it and it just seems complicated because it's Nintendo.
So here's the interesting thing about this game. So Imran Khan, who also broke the Final Fantasy 16 pre-order news earlier.
Okay.
Imran reported that this game existed about a year ago. So that we've technically known that this game was out there.
Yeah.
How do I want to put this?
Do you think this is a send-off?
The play tests Imran had said a year ago that the play tests had been really bad. People were like the internal testing, not super positive.
That's disappointing.
I mean, I don't know how that happened though. All the people in this image, they seem to be having such a good time.
Yeah, they're having so much.
Some of them are rowing a boat with their Joy-Cons. The other ones are holding what looked like either guns or phones above their heads.
Yeah,
aiming at aliens in the background.
It sucks because I really like these like WarioWare mini game type games, especially on a console like the Switch. So it's gonna be. It sounds like it's gonna be another flop.
Yeah,
but maybe they're just trying to. I don't know what your theory is, but maybe they're trying to push out everything they have left for the Switch.
So
before it's time to.
I'm gonna get into my theory. But before that, let me go to the other one so I can kind of put everything together.
Okay.
So this released today. It was a new trailer for Pikmin 4.
I did not know that.
Yes, the trailer came out today. It comes out July 21st. It's a pretty cool trailer. It shows that you get to create your own character in the game.
Oh wow.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, you should check out the trailer.
Yeah.
You can see it kind of playing here on my screen a little bit.
Yeah.
This to me looked like the kind of trailer I would expect to see in a Nintendo Direct. And so this leads me to kind of my overall theory about where we are at with the Switch and Nintendo. I think that they are putting out Everybody 1-2 Switch.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Everybody 1-2 Switch. They're putting out that game. They're dropping this trailer in a sense where they would usually drop it as a part of a Direct.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to see a Nintendo Direct this year. And I think that, like you said, I don't think we're going to get... I think Pikmin 4 might be the last major release for the Switch, first party-wise.
Okay.
I think I
agree with you.
I think that Pikmin 4 is going to signify kind of the end of the Switch's life cycle. And I think that we'll see a new game...
So do you think Metroid 4 is not a Switch title?
I feel like it's going to carry over. I just, at this point, maybe Metroid Prime 4 comes out this holiday season.
That's the only thing I can see coming out.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of that they're working on that hasn't come out yet. But at the same time, I would hold it. I would hold it.
Yeah, why not? So at least do it like a double release.
So my theory is that we're gonna see the Switch get sunsetted next year in terms of it being the Nintendo's console.
I agree.
I think we're gonna see the reveal early next year with a release middle to late next year.
And I think I told you about this earlier today, but I've seen rumors. I wish I had sources to pull up, but there was rumors that when they announced whatever the next thing is, it's going to be very close to release date. Like someone said 3 months within release date. So like,
yeah. I mean, the Switch was awesome. And when we get to that point, we'll do a Switch farewell show, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's where we're at. I think we're seeing that the end of they're just, hey, look, man, Tears of the Kingdom was the Switch's magnum opus.
Really quick, at the very least, what do you think you want from a Nintendo, the next Nintendo console?
What do I want? I want it to be a Switch, but much more powerful.
That's all I want, honestly.
I think that, like, look, I know we say it. I like Nintendo loves to innovate, and I really understand that. I don't know what you can do that's a better idea than the Switch. I think the Switch is one of the biggest home runs of all time because it caters to everybody. It caters to the people who want to take their games on the go. It caters to people that want to sit on the couch. It caters to people who want to play with motion controls and play party games, and it caters to people that just want to stay inside and sit down with their Pro Controller and play a game. Mm-hmm. It caters to the people like, hey, I'm at a party, let me bust it out, sit it on the table, let's play Mario Party. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know, it caters to everybody for every situation.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would undo that.
I agree.
I don't know what you can do except for make the console more powerful. Like, and that comes down to like critiquing the Switch. What's my one issue with the Switch? I mean, I technically would say I have two issues. Number two being the virtual console library or lack thereof, but they're slowly working on that.
Yeah.
Which I really hope that they don't start over.
Yeah,
I swear to God, if they start over on the Switch too,
that's another thing.
that might be a deal, like not a deal breaker for the console, but like I don't know if I can do it at that point. Like,
I get it. That is a very valid. You'll still get it. Don't.
Yeah, I'll still get the console, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you'll keep your Switch plugged in. Unfortunately.
Yeah. But I would just do that. I mean, like playing. Like here's the thing: playing Tears of the Kingdom, and like I have a part of it. I think in the weekly update, when we get to Zelda's Adventures. But like, man, I wish that Tears of the Kingdom, like it doesn't have a lot of issues, but when the issues pop up, it's such a bummer. Where it's
Do you
like,
think so?
well, like because I was on Mount Satori, and I'm like, it's such a beautiful mountain, and it's like all of the trees and the animals and the flowers and the fruit that's just fallen off the trees. It's such a beautiful landscape in the world.
Okay.
But like the Switch is just dying. It's like, please put me out of my misery.
So I think this is having the same issue as Breath of the Wild because I'm playing on handheld, so I'm not seeing as much of the stuttering. But on Satori Mountain, I did see there was like an area where it was like they load that area with animals, like you could tell flowers and animals and everything.
Animals, flowers,
and like that was. I haven't seen much stuttering in the game. That was one spot where it was actually noticeable, and I was like, oh, but like it wasn't like it was a passing moment.
Yeah,
I agree with you. That's all I want from a. The only other thing I'll add is I want backwards compatibility. I want to be able to take
with the Switch One. Yes,
I want to. That's literally my only. Whatever they do next, I want it to be able to go backwards to at least the Switch One. That's all.
Yeah,
I ask for.
All right, let's move on. Number 11 on the headlines: Final Fantasy IX remake is real, according to Jeff Grubb. He says that the remake of the classic PlayStation 2000 title from 2000 is real. Most of the Square Enix games from the Nvidia leak early this year have been confirmed or even come out by now, except for the Final Fantasy IX remake and the Final Fantasy Tactics remake, Grubb said on his Games Mess Mornings podcast. I will say I heard very recently, once again, that the remake is real, that it is real, and it's happening. Currently, Square Enix is getting Final Fantasy VII Rebirth ready for a release date, and obviously Final Fantasy XVI comes out this year as well. I would definitely be getting this. I haven't played Final Fantasy IX, but I've heard good things. I've heard very good things. There you go. Dope. Last up on the news headlines, number 12, Diablo 4 came out today, Devroro, and it has immediately set a new record as Blizzard Entertainment's fastest selling game of all time. In the 4 days since early access started on June 1st, Diablo 4 has been played for 93 million hours.
It's insane.
This game looks awesome. I really want to get it.
I've only heard, besides, so the only bad thing I've heard about the game is that the microtransactions are like egregious, but it's not in your face. It's more on the optional side. It's just when you look at them, it's like it's so many.
Right.
But other than that, I've heard nothing but like this is like a 10 out of 10 game.
Okay.
That's cool. So it's not in your face. It's probably like that's cool.
All right, well, that's it for the news headlines. Let's move on to the next segment in our show, Zelda Adventures. Deborah, we've been playing Tears of the Kingdom. Tell me about what you've done this week in Tears of the Kingdom.
I haven't played much. So I beat the dungeon. I beat the dungeon of the Rito. The dungeon was okay. It wasn't my favorite dungeon to play, but it was a dungeon. You know, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I did like the boats. I like the boats that you trampoline off of. I thought that was a cool thing.
Yeah.
The actual boss, I beat the boss in like one try, like 2 minutes.
It's not a hard boss.
Yeah, it was so easy to beat. It was like very like that would, I don't know.
I thought for me I enjoyed it because it was epic, and it was something that we didn't see a lot of in Breath of the Wild, because again, I'm going to compare my time in Tears of the Kingdom to Breath of the Wild overall, as really makes sense.
I guess.
I thought that the Blight Ganons were dumb, unimaginative, boring, samey, all around not enjoyable. And so this being the first dungeon I did as well, coming out the gate and like this map, like I don't want to again, we're gonna avoid storyline spoilers, but there will be location spoilers in this segment as we go on week by week. I thought this boss was something that it was unique for the game. It was cool looking, and it was a cool experience. Was it difficult? No, I would not say it was difficult.
Yeah.
But I definitely enjoyed my time doing it.
I did like the puzzles of the dungeon itself, like getting through it.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I do hope that the other, I just boss wise, I was a little disappointed. Dungeon wise, I was like, okay, this is cool. Boss wise, I was like, that was over in a flash. Like I don't even know what I just fought. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a
It's
cool design. It was a cool design boss. Like I liked it.
Well, something that I was really kind of intrigued by the boss, and again, I'm not going to go too far spoilery, but I thought it was really cool that this wasn't just like a swing your sword at this boss. Like there was a strategy and a way to beat it, and you had to go and like do something.
You just had to launch arrows at it. It wasn't a swing a sword. It was just shoot arrows at it.
There was
You know
more
what I mean?
to it. I mean, you're going
Not
up and
really.
down in the air. You have to watch out for the whirlwinds and all that stuff. Like there was more to it than just simply shoot your bow. I mean,
I stayed in the middle and I just shot my bow, and then like there was.
Wait,
like,
you stood?
I mean, like I floated.
Oh, I was gonna say,
sorry.
like,
No,
what the
I had
hell?
to be fighting. I had to be floating.
Oh wow, okay.
And then I like shot it, and then like it did like a part 2 where it shot out whirlwinds, but they were never in my way, so I just shot the bow again, and it was over. And I was like, that was quick.
Right.
I think something that would have been cooler with that dungeon in particular is have that creature, whatever it was, flying around the sky the way you see the dragons fly around the sky, just so that you see that and you're like, what is that? What do I have to fight? But I guess I don't know. It wasn't that bad, and like again, that was one dungeon, and I still have 3 more that I know of. You know what I mean? 4 more. Right. I'm excited to go back in.
Yeah. Okay.
I also did a lot of that area, which is I thought it wasn't going to take as long as it did, but it took quite a while.
Yeah, that took a while for me too.
The stable stuff, all the stable quests, I enjoy them. I do when I come across when I do them, except for the one about the beast. I don't want to spoil it because that's like far away.
Yeah.
But everything else I've just come across like, hey, do this quest real quick, and it's never that far. And they're cool. They kind of give you some story details. You know, I won't throw out there, but I think it was pretty cool.
Okay. So for me, I actually was pretty lucky that I fell into it this week, and I played a lot of it. But a lot of it was exploration. I haven't really progressed as much as I would like. But I'm enjoying the ride all the same. So where we left off last week, I continued my exploration of the Hyrule Field region. Just kind of finished that up. Went to Mount Satori, like we talked about a few minutes ago, and there's a really cool shrine there in a cave at the base of Mount Satori.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
I got stuck because I lost it.
Yeah.
I lost what is it called, the bleeple or whatever?
Yeah.
It ran ahead of me, and I was like, oh no! So I had to go around, and I ended up double backtracking because I want to go through every. We talked about this before. I had to go through every cavern, but
it's a pet peeve in gaming.
Yeah.
While in that cave, I believe, based off of the notes I wrote, I ran into the hands.
In that cave?
I believe so, based off my notes. If not that cave, then a very close cave. But like, see, I said Mount Satori, and then I said Mount Satori for number 4.
I actually have a question about that. Not the Satori cave. So what are they called? Bleeples, whatever.
The bloopies.
The bloopies. They lead you to an area. They all want you to be in a certain area.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I couldn't figure it out either.
Okay, I wanted to bring that up because I kept searching that area and I didn't want to Google anything, and I'm like, why?
I didn't look it up either.
Why are you all leading me here?
Yeah, why are you all here? And then like I couldn't figure it out.
Okay,
don't know. I just hit him with a bunch of arrows and got rupees, and I was like, maybe it's just to get rupees. I guess.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so I found the Gloom Hands in a cave, and I was like, you know what? We're doing this.
Okay.
I beat them,
and then
I beat the boss. That's afterwards.
Okay.
And I got some stuff. Do you want to know?
Yeah, because
okay, so you get a sword and a bow. The sword is a gloom sword, and basically, so it's got about 41 attack, so it's relatively, it's a pretty good sword. Yeah, and I fused it with something, so now it has 64 attack.
Okay.
I've been fusing more.
Nice.
Be proud.
Yeah.
But so that sword, when you hit an enemy, you take damage too. Because it's a gloom sword.
Okay.
And then the bow, I'm not using it yet because I did some research on it. So it was a really weak bow. It was like 14 power. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird for this boss to drop it. So the bow gets more powerful the more hearts you have.
Oh, cool.
So since then, it's now up to power 22.
Oh, that's
and I'm still not going to use it until it's going to be like the last bow I use.
Okay, that's awesome. I didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're kind of motivating me to beat that.
Yeah.
And
well, because I got stuck in this cave, and so the cave was there was water dripping, and this is why I fought the hands. There was like water dripping from the roof, so I couldn't climb surfaces. Usually we talk about I avoid them by just climbing. I couldn't climb, and I couldn't get out either, and I couldn't use ascend because they were so on me. And I was like,
you had no choice.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
I either have to fast travel out, or I'm doing it. I'm like, I'm doing it.
That's awesome. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, and it was a really awesome experience, and I'm happy that I did it.
Were you able to? I guess were you able to hit him physically?
Yes.
Okay. Because I had issues because he has the gloom underneath him.
I used Ice Talus though, and again I was taking hits. Like I was taking hits.
Ice Talus, yeah. Okay.
I had a few pharaohs I used, but yeah.
And yeah. Okay. Oh no,
I
have gotten it already.
Well, I have one of them, but I didn't have it at the time.
Okay.
I do know about that, and I would have used it if I had it, but I didn't have it at the time because I had to do more side quests.
I only use it to travel because like I guess that's just what it's for. But it does with just the top part that I have.
I only have the top part.
Yeah, same. I think you get them periodically as you do more.
You get them as you do more of the Gazette stuff.
Yeah, and it does help. Like I think it makes you slide down every like fourth thing you climb instead of every one. So
right. And then I finished that region with Satori Mountain, which again I put in my notes. It's so beautiful. Like I'm walking through and I'm just like, it's so beautiful.
They double down on,
but the Switch just couldn't handle it. My Switch was begging me to just put it out of its misery.
It is a little bit better on handheld because I haven't noticed it wasn't that bad for me.
Yeah. So at this point, when I finish a region, like I've said, I go back to Lookout Landing, kind of hit refresh. It's the very few times that I fast travel. So I go back to Lookout Landing to turn in my shrines to get my hearts and my stamina.
Yeah.
And I go down into the basement, in that Lookout Landing area.
Yeah.
And this lady's like, "Oh, hey, like I was cleaning up and somehow my broom broke the wall."
Yeah.
And so I go through this little crazy royal cavern adventure. It was interesting. While I'm in the area, I got the Hylian shield. I knew where it was. I knew how to get it. It's super easy. It's not very spoilery either. If it's something you really want, I would recommend you can.
Oh, so you got it from there. You got it from
not in the cavern,
but that path led you.
No,
okay.
No, I didn't. I'm just saying in the order of what I did.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go through like step to step, Devroro.
But if you do that, if you go through there, you get the glaives. I think I don't know if you got the.
Yeah, I got the soldier stuff.
Okay, that's what I meant.
I got the soldier outfit.
Okay.
But so I was like, you know what? It's time. I'm gonna get the Hylian shield. And I did. And I'm very happy that I did. Because again, as someone who really appreciates the aesthetically pleasing stuff, it's also aesthetically pleasing. And it's the best shield in the game. So it's a win for me. Double win. So I went and got that. At that point, I went to the Lanayru wetlands. It rained a lot. And I mean, like, a lot.
I mean, yeah, it's the wetland.
I know. And I expected it. But exploring it took so long because of the rain. Ugh. Because at the time, I also still didn't have the...
That's going to make it a lot better.
Well, I'm already done it, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. And we talked about that before. I was like, I'm glad they didn't take it away. I'm glad they just gave you something to kind of overcome it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And I'm not there at the wetlands yet, so...
Yeah, a lot of water. A lot of rain. Including thunderstorms. I explored Kakariko Village, went to the Ring Ruins. They couldn't really let me go much further. I feel like that's going to be like a late main quest thing. I finally explored the depths. I was like, you know what? I've explored so much of the overworld of the main Hyrule. Went underground and did a good amount of exploring. Not a lot. Picked up a lot of stuff. Like, the puff shrooms and Muddlebud. Remember that stuff? That's what it's called, right? Muddlebud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Muddlebud and bombs, you get a lot of those down there.
Yes.
And puff shrooms, which it's all.
Yeah.
All
so again, I've started to use a lot more fusing and a lot more items. I've been using that a lot more. You kind of do, and I'm getting it. I'm getting there. Because there's still some aesthetically pleasing fusings that I can do, and I'm kind of doing that more. I still think fusing rocks to your sword looks dumb. But luckily I've unlocked something in the game that makes me not need that as much anymore, which I'm not going to spoil.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah. So, and then I found something in the sky called a Sage's Will. I went up to the sky. So again, Devroro, I'm all over the place at this point. I'm going depths, and I'm going up to the sky, and I find a Sage's Will. And it says when you get 4 of them, bring them to the goddess statue, and you can do stuff. You told me today what it is. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's stuff that you can do. And I'm like, okay, cool. So at this point, I dive off the sky to go back to Hyrule, right? So I've been collecting these star fragments.
Yeah.
To upgrade my tunic because that's what I'm doing. So I go and I jump off, and this is just a really cool moment that happened. And I hear this like tingling as I'm falling through the sky.
Yeah.
I look to my right, and there's a fucking star fragment falling with me.
And
I grabbed it, and
Yeah.
I was like,
it was really cool, right?
It's a really cool moment.
The only star fragment I have is from that, because the ones that far in the distance, I'm usually on a path somewhere, and I don't want to stray too far. But yeah,
I don't know.
Apparently that happens a lot. So when you go to the sky, don't fast travel down. Just jump down.
Never fast travel.
Yeah, jump down.
So I also hit a point where I was getting one-shotted by enemies, and I was like, I need to figure out how to get the Great Fairies because they're locked in this game. Figured that out, did the side quests, unlocked the first Great Fairy, upgraded my tunic. I have the Twilight Princess tunic completely filled out, so that's what I'm rocking.
Before I leave, I'm going to scan your amiibos. I was going to do it earlier.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And then I began exploring the Elden region. There was something weird going on with the Gorons. Not going to spoil anything story-wise.
So
I love the story of this game, though. The stories that's going on in these regions. So I've now been to 2 of the 4.
I talked to an NPC, and they kind of hinted at something.
What did they say?
I'll say it because I don't like. They said that there's some weird rocks that are making the Gorons act out of place.
Yeah,
and that's all they said. And I was like, all right, I don't know what's going on, but all right.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, at this point, if you want to skip moving forward, yeah, we'll try to be a little more. You're correct. So moving on, I started exploring like Elden and Death Mountain areas. I made my Hylian shield better, which had me super hyped. So for those that don't know, if you find a rock Octorok, you can drop a sword or a shield. Now, this was in Breath of the Wild, but now it's tweaked. So in Breath of the Wild, it would repair it and then spit it back out. In Tears of the Kingdom, it'll repair it once per Blood Moon cycle. But when it repairs it, it will also give it a buff. Mm-hmm. So, and these buffs are random. Now, like the Hylian shield's got a lot of durability. It's the best shield in the game. So I wasn't anywhere near needing to get it repaired. But I'm up there in the mountains and I see one. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's get a fresh shield. I drop it. It sucks it up, spits it out, and it gives me a high durability Hylian shield. And I'm just like, this is incredible. So happy with that. I did some of the memories, and the memories and the story being told there, so interesting. I'm so intrigued. It's so much better than Breath of the Wild's memories.
I agree with that.
I tried to get a shrine that is on Hyrule Castle, so I went back to Lookout Landing again, and I didn't realize that even though Hyrule Castle's in floating, there is a part of the castle that is not. So I kind of explored what was there a little bit and found a secret cavern with stuff. Not a lot of great loot. If I had gone there maybe like 20 hours earlier, I would have appreciated going there, but it might be worth checking out for some.
Is it the one did you get the top? I assume you got the top of the soldier.
No.
Oh, okay.
You lift the grate up. And then what the ironic thing was, it led, and I don't know how I didn't find it, but it led into that cavern that was under Lookout Landing. Okay. So it kind of like, I guess you were supposed to make it to Hyrule Castle, but I didn't make it that far. I don't know how I missed the entrance, but I did. And then we kind of get up to the end of my adventures for this week. So after doing all of Elden, I wanted to walk the trail to Goron City, because as we've talked about with Breath of the Wild, I skipped a lot of roads because I did a lot of climbing. This time I was like, I want to go back down. Went back down to the bottom of the mountain. And I walked up the trail, and you know what? I'm glad I did. I ran into a really nice Gerudo that I really recommend you talking to. She's going to make you a lot of money. I'm not going to tell you why.
Wait, where did you go?
So you know how that shrine where you unlock the first Great Fairy? Yes. There's a road to Goron City. Just take the road. Like when you're ready to do the main quest there, just take the road. You'll run into something. I'm not going to tell you what's going on with it necessarily, but you're going to run into a Gerudo there. She's going to offer to buy stuff from you, and I made like 6,000 rupees.
Okay. In that same area that you're at, did you meet the 2 brothers?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the same situation.
Okay.
The Gerudo is part of that.
Have you found...
Oh, wait, the brothers with the balloon?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I met them. That's not the same thing, though. Okay. But yeah, I met them. So I did that as well.
And then I think I told you the area if you want to go by and spend your those things you've been collecting.
Yeah. Hetsu's gone from Lookout Landing. I'm really mad about that, by the way.
Yeah, so...
I'm like, what the fuck?
So, yeah... He's only stays there for a while after your first...
Yeah, I know. No, I don't know where he is.
You know where he is.
I know where he is. He's rolling around with his golden poop.
Yeah, he's in. I don't know which part of the map it is, but he's in the forest.
Yep. And then so to wrap it up here, you came over at this point, but I started the Goron City Phenomena objective, rode a minecart up Death Mountain, and holy shit, the top of Death Mountain stuff is so cool. I was just like, you were in the other room because you didn't want to see the spoilers because you'd gotten here, and I was like, this game is game of the decade. It's gonna win game of the decade in 2029. We're gonna be sitting around talking about how Tears of the Kingdom is game of the decade. I love this game so much. And that was Zelda Adventures for this week. So, Devroro, what are you doing next in Tears of the Kingdom?
I am going to the southwest of the map. I'm going to go back to Kakariko Village because there was a quest I had to do there. There's also a quest for those. I've only did it once, but there's a section where there's a camp and there's a bunch of monsters in it, and you got to like run with a bunch of people.
Yes, I've been doing those.
Yeah, there's another one in that area that I'm going to do, and then I'm going to go to Hateno, and then I'm going to work my way up.
Okay.
I'm probably going to do the Doro area first, and then I'll do Gerudo.
Okay.
And then I'll go all the way down to the southwest and finish up there.
Yeah, well, I'm currently sitting right outside the second dungeon, so next time I play, I'm going to be doing the second dungeon. Looking forward to that, and then
I kind of hope it leads you to the southwest, so you're like zigzagging. But I do think it's going to take you to the Zoro's domain.
Yeah, I'm not going to do Zora's domain right away though.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to.
Oh, you're going to go do the stuff. You're going to go.
My gut tells me to try the depths again and see if I can get some more of the depths explored.
Okay.
But also I might just try to do Hateno Village at that point.
Here's a tip: when I explore the depths, there's been parts where I had to, or I just fell into it. So I'm like, I'm just going to do this little area. Go to your regular map.
Yep.
Whatever shrines you have, go down and just
place beacons. Yeah, I know. Okay.
And vice versa.
Right. Yeah, I've been doing that. Okay. So yeah, we'll touch base again next week with where we're at with Zelda. Ironically enough, probably going to be a much smaller report because it's E3 week, so going to be a lot of other stuff going on.
I'm very excited.
Before we talk about E3, because I'm still going to call it E3, let's run through the game releases this week. Amnesia the Bunker comes out on Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and PC today on June 6th. It's also on Game Pass. This actually sounds really cool. Apparently, it's like a World War I horror game, so that sounds really cool. Okay. I might check that out.
Oh, yeah. Amnesia's like that, yeah.
Yeah. Diablo 4 came out today. I don't know if you've heard of it, Devroro.
It's the fourth one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you really got me there. You worked me. PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, PC today. I don't know why you got me there. No shit. Harmony, The Fall of Reverie comes out on Switch and PC. I believe that was on the last direct. I don't remember what it is though.
Jeff has some of the gameplay up for Diablo, and I was like, man, I want to play this game.
Zelda is the only thing that's keeping me from buying Diablo 4.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
When you buy it, when you actually buy it, I'm gonna bite the bullet and buy it so we can play.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So whenever you do it, you tell me and I'll buy it.
Jeff, do you have this game? Or are you planning to get this game or anything like that?
No, I'm just watching.
Okay.
It's really fun to watch. It's one of those games that I can just sit here and watch.
Yeah, you can just kind of vibe too. Yeah. MotoGP 23 comes out on June 8th. I don't think anyone's buying that game this week compared to other games. Dordone comes out on PS5 and Xbox Series, and I don't have a date for that. I don't know what happened there, but I don't even know what that game is. So, and that's it for the releases. Obviously, Diablo 4 is the big release. It's release number 2 of 4 big releases.
I just want to say it has been a really good year for gaming so far.
I can't wait to talk about the end of the year. December is going to be a fun month for us here.
It hasn't been this good of a year for gaming in a
5 years. 5 years.
It does feel that way. Yeah,
it's such a good year, and we're about to know what the second half of the year looks like after this week.
Yeah,
we're gonna the next episode of the podcast we do. We're gonna know what the holiday season looks like.
Yeah, that's crazy.
More so, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Every genre's got big games coming out this year.
Do you have TJ on Discord?
Yeah, TJ's in the Discord.
He's gonna watch the thing. Let's get him on next week.
Yeah, so I actually talked to him on the Discord. I don't think he saw it, so I'm gonna DM him. But that's my vision because I figured it would be better to have him on next week than this week because next week is
it's a bigger event.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna DM TJ. I don't know if you're still here, TJ, but we want you on next week, and I'll DM you. Let's see. All right. So, topic of the show, Summer Games Fest preview. We're starting Thursday with Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. He did an interview on a podcast.
I just read this, and I'm glad you have that up there because I saw that.
Yeah. So with the Summer Games Fest, Jeff Keighley did a podcast appearance, and people were like, so how's it feel that you killed E3? He's like, I didn't kill E3. E3 killed itself. And I'm like, oh, Jeff, you kind of did kill E3, like regardless of how well E3 was doing.
He didn't kill E3.
He did kill E3.
It was like a parents going through divorce, and he was like the aunt that took in the child. He was like, "Come here."
All right. Well, so let's run through these showcases. TJ's always here. He's playing Jedi Fallen Order. All right, TJ, we want you on the podcast next week. We'll figure out the date. We'll iron it out. We'll have you on for the review for all these showcases. All right. So for Summer Games Fest, I wrote down some predictions that I have. I think most of them are very realistic. Some of them, one of them, I think is kind of a stretch, but we'll see what happens. So Summer Games Fest is on Thursday.
I don't have much in prediction wise, so I'll let
this one's the hardest one.
I'll let you go through yours, and I'll add if anything, or you know.
Yeah. So for me, I think we're going to see the new Armored Core game at Summer Games Fest.
Okay.
I think that's kind of a lock. From Software usually shows up with Jeff Keighley's stuff, and I think that's a safe one. Hideo Kojima will be there live. It'll be the first one he's there live for in about 4 years. They're very close. I think we see the Death Stranding 2 or a Death Stranding 2 trailer. Because again, he and Kojima are just so close.
I almost feel like that's a given.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get the release date for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because their PR team, their Twitter account has been like posting some stuff about the game, but very vague, brief. They're still maintaining that the game's coming out this holiday season. I think that makes sense for them to come with the release date there.
Okay.
And my last prediction for the Summer Games Fest is I think we might see not a lot, probably like a reveal or a CG or something. I think we're going to see the reveal of the next Tomb Raider game.
Ooh, that's okay.
And so, I mean, we know that Amazon's working on it. They're publishing it. I believe it's Amazon. I think it just makes a lot of sense to see it there.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm going with.
That one seems like the most left field one for me out of all the other things you said. If we don't see Armor Core, I think we'll see Elden Ring DLC.
I agree with that completely.
Okay.
I 100%.
I think it'll be one of the two. I don't think we'll see both.
Right, but the reason that I went Armored Core is because we know that that's launching this year.
Okay.
I think the Elden Ring DLC is coming out this year.
Is Armored Core coming out this year?
It is coming out this year.
Okay, I didn't know.
I think they already have a release date for it. I think it's like August or September. We reported on it last week.
Okay.
Or the week before.
Oh yeah, then if you have it coming out I think that's a safer bet.
You're gonna see it. We haven't seen a lot from it yet.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe we'll see both, but I do think
probably.
Yeah.
So do you have anything else you want to add to the Summer Games Fest? Again, it's a hard one to predict because it's very vague and open.
Yeah. I don't know. That is nothing like. I mean, we'll see a Muppet.
We will. No, the Muppets are more the Game Awards.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, so we probably won't see a Muppet, but.
Okay. For the Summer Games Fest? Well, I think that's just because people are just generally riding a negative vibe from the PlayStation Showcase. I think don't expect anything from PlayStation. I think that PlayStation has nothing to show right now. So if you're looking for PlayStation first party, do not expect anything from them.
I think I agree with that.
That being said,
they showed a lot of Spider-Man. I can't imagine them like there's nothing big this year unless they have something exclusive. But even than that,
so I'll do one more prediction. I have prediction number 5 because I was trying to come into this with 5 for everybody, and I just came up with one on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
If it's coming out for the Switch this year, we will see Metroid Prime 4 at the Summer Games Fest.
Okay,
because they're not doing a direct. Yeah. I don't think they're doing a Nintendo Direct. I don't think you're going to see another Nintendo Direct that's focused on the Switch. Yeah, I don't think so.
I think I agree with
I think you might see like a partner showcase, like a little third-party 10-minute thing that they used to do during the pandemic. But I think that...
There's something so excited about like that. Like, we're not going to see another Nintendo Direct until the next Switch.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. That's just my theory, though. I could be wrong.
I think we'll see another Direct in like the fall.
I don't think so.
Maybe not the fall, but whatever their holiday games are.
I don't think they have holiday games. I really don't
think so.
I think that if Metroid Prime is coming to Switch, it'll come to Switch this holiday season, and like you'll have the Pokemon DLC for Scarlet and Violet.
Oh yeah,
I don't think you'll see anything else. I think Pikmin comes out, maybe Prime 4. I could be wrong. I just don't think so. I think that again, that Pikmin 4 trailer that came out today tells me that they don't have a Nintendo Direct planned anytime soon. Because that's the kind of trailer they show at a Direct.
So TJ threw up some of his. He put Armor Core, which same with you. Mortal Kombat, which is another.
We will see Mortal Kombat. I think that's a lock.
Which also looks really good.
It does.
Tekken, Monster Hunter trailer, and Silent Hill, which I also agree with Silent Hill.
I think Silent Hill is also
about time because it's been a while.
It's also very feasible.
Yeah.
There's definitely some good picks from TJ.
Yeah.
The Xbox showcase is going to be on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So some details that we got about the showcase. It's going to be a roughly 2 hours. Aaron Greenberg has come out and said that there's no TV or movie stuff. There's no 12-month limit anymore. And he is saying that there will be no CGI for first party.
Okay.
So, yeah. I believe, he tweeted this. I don't have it up, but I think he also said, like, someone asked him, like, hey, are you going to tell people to, like, set their expectations? And he actually said, no, I'm not going to do that. So, I don't know if I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he said that. I feel like I saw that. But anyways,
that is the two very exciting things about that is
no CG
and the 12-month limit.
Yeah, don't do the 12-month.
Because I thought the 12-month limit is such a good idea because it's like everything that's happening in the next year, but games are so
it's hard to nail.
Yeah, it's very hard to nail. You're gonna have things pushed back. So
yeah, it just makes you look bad if you can't meet that promise.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I do like that. It takes pressure off of the developers.
I appreciate them wanting to be transparent, but it just wasn't. It wasn't.
We're gonna see gameplay trailers next week. Like that's exciting.
Less than a week. Yeah, less than a week.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And then lastly, before we get into my predictions, Fable fans are going crazy. Xbox's social media posted a little thing about do you love games and glitter, and people think it's Fable, and I agree that I think it's Fable.
Oh yeah, that whole when I went if I had saw it without all the so I went into seeing it with like, oh look, it's a Fable maybe.
Yeah.
If I had saw it without it, I probably wouldn't have thought that. But like the glitter leading up to it and like people connecting the dots, I was like, oh, that's really cool.
So here are my 5 predictions for the Xbox showcase and what we should see and what we're going to see. Number 1 is Fable. I'm very excited. I'm excited for all 5 of these games I picked. I think we're going to see Fable. I don't think it's coming out until at the earliest late next year. But I think that you need to get an update of Fable out there. I mean, really, you need to get an update on Perfect Dark as well.
When did they first show Fable? Do you know what year? Was it 20?
That was 2020.
That was 2020.
So 2019.
I think
no, it was 2020 because it was the pandemic. It's when they did that showcase.
Yeah, you're right. So I think 3 years is a good enough time to show it. Even if the game is a year out, a year or 2 out, I think 3 years.
Yeah, you could show what you're working on. I think they need to. I do. I really.
And whatever they show, hopefully they don't show much more until the game's out. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. Number 2 in the same vein, Avowed. I think we need to see Avowed. Yeah. I think we're very close to seeing Avowed. If you ask me,
Avowed's also been 3 years, right?
Yeah, Avowed was also so people joke about that Xbox showcase where it's like they announced Fable, Avowed, Perfect Dark, and Everwild, and we haven't really seen any of these 4. So I don't think we're gonna see Everwild personally yet. I think that game had to get restarted. I don't think it's doing super well, but I think that we should see Avowed. And apparently, I think someone said that Avowed is actually changed a little bit. So it's different than what the alpha trailer, CG, whatever it was that we saw.
Okay.
So I'm intrigued to see more of it. Or at least get like an official reveal type thing.
The stuff they showed for Avowed in that initial trailer I liked. So like
yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully it's not too far off.
Right. I think it's going to be pretty close, but still. Number 3 in my predictions. Machine Games, makers of Wolfenstein, they're making an Indiana Jones game.
And yeah.
I think what better time than in the same month that we're getting a new Indiana Jones movie. The hype is for Indiana Jones fans is going to be at the highest that it could possibly be.
Which that movie looks really good.
It does. I want to see it.
Really good.
But we haven't even seen Guardians. We never saw Guardians because I've been so busy with work.
Yeah. I think we'll just watch that
on Disney Plus. Yeah, it'll come to Disney Plus in a few weeks. But no, I think we see the Indiana Jones game. I think it's going to coincide really well, and I think because this has not been announced yet, I think it is going to be an Xbox exclusive.
What will?
Indiana Jones.
Because
they haven't outright said it yet, but I think it will be.
Okay. They announced that one in 2021, right?
That might have been 2022 even. It's not super.
Yeah, if we don't see that one, I think I think that's okay because
I think we see something early. Though. I think we see some sort of trailer at something.
Because we didn't see any. The announcement was just a poster, or was it like a teaser or something?
It was literally like a whip. It was a video where like a whip and like a book, and people were like, "Oh my god!" And then it's like Machine Games, Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Which perfect studio to make an Indiana Jones game.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Number 4 on my predictions, I think that we are going to see a lot of Hellblade 2.
I hope so.
And I think, I'm going to say it, I think we're going to get a release date.
I hope so.
And I think it's coming out this year.
Okay.
I think it's coming out, I'm going to say November.
That's a game where I'm waiting for the second one to come out before I replay the first one. I love the first one a lot.
It's so good,
and I'm gonna replay it.
Yeah,
it's a short game too to play. It's like it's 5-6 hours. Such a fun game.
And then number 5 on my prediction. I think this is the boldest of them all. I think all the other 4 are very likely. For me, this is kind of a bold prediction, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Throw it out there.
I want to see what the hell Compulsion Games is working on. This is the team that made We Happy Few, very Bioshock-esque game. It gives off the Bioshock. You
said this before.
I've said this, I think, last week. I want to see what they're working on with money. I want to see, now that they have time and money, I want to see it so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to see what they're working on.
The BioS game, the Bioshock type of games, they're not hitting. And it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
I think we talked about Bioshock
last week. Bioshock's in development hell, the new one.
Yeah, and it's just like, what was the game that came out recently? Altered, or something about hearts? The Russian one.
Oh, Atomic Heart.
Atomic Heart. That game was... People are mixed on it.
It's very mixed, yeah.
So, like...
Yeah, someone needs to step up and deliver that Bioshock feel experience in 2023.
Yeah.
And I think Compulsion can do it.
Right.
I got the right vibes with We Happy Few. My biggest problem with We Happy Few is it just felt like they didn't have the budget. It just felt... The first quarter was great, and then it just felt rehashed. And I just got bored of it because it was just the same loop. And, like, I just want to see more.
And so TJ threw his predictions up. Avowed, Fable, Perfect Dark. I don't think we're going to see Perfect Dark. I think Perfect Dark is in some type of...
I think Perfect Dark we see at the Game Awards.
You think so?
In December. Yeah, I think that's a December reveal.
The development stuff I've heard behind it doesn't seem good, so I'm worried about Perfect Dark.
Well, they have Crystal Dynamics kind of stepping in, and Crystal Dynamics is a good developer.
That is true.
So I have faith in
them. I don't think it's going to be a quadruple A game. If we'll see. State of Decay, which I agree. I don't think you have State of Decay up. That game is well overdue for something. Like State of Decay 3 has been in development for a while, so I hope we see that. Compulsion Games, like you said, In Exile's new game. What is In Exile? What have they done?
In Exile did Wasteland. They did Wasteland, I believe.
Okay.
Which Wasteland's really good. Wasteland's a fun series.
Yeah, they're a newer studio, right?
No, they've been working on the Wasteland games for a while. Yeah, I'm correct. Wasteland. They made the Wasteland games, the Bard's Tales games.
Oh, Bard's Tale. Okay.
Yeah, Bard's Tale.
Okay. Yeah, they're not a newer studio.
No, they're not. They were founded in 2002.
Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was correct on that when I said Wasteland.
I mean, even if half the things both of you have said is true, like
it's gonna be a great showcase.
It's gonna be
2 hours long too. It's 2 hours.
2
hours with not a lot. They're saying no first party CG.
When are you watching it?
I have to let you know because I don't know my schedule for Sunday yet. I think there's a chance if I'm working a night shift on Sunday, we could watch it live. But then I would just have to go to work right afterwards. I definitely probably won't see the Starfield Direct if I have to work that night.
Are you going to watch it Sunday? Is that a definite? Because I can come over Monday early-ish.
Yes, I'm going to try to watch it as soon as possible on Sunday because I'm not going to want to stay off the internet.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, I would say make plans either whether it be live or Sunday night to see it.
I don't think I can do Sunday night, but sometime Monday. If you can hold off till Monday for whatever reason, if you're too tired or whatever, that's not true. You're going to watch it.
I'm going to watch it Sunday.
So I'll probably watch it at some point, and then we'll just talk about it.
We'll talk about it when I figure out my schedule. We'll talk off the podcast. We'll figure out the schedule for everything.
Okay.
I mean, really, if you want to come over Thursday and watch Summer Games Fest with me,
I might.
I work till 4. Yeah, I work till 4, and then
okay. I don't know my schedule. My schedule this week is weird because I'm in training.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
We'll figure it out. Let's move on though. We'll talk off the air. So that's Xbox. Let's talk about Ubisoft. What we think we're going to see from Ubisoft. So I picked 5 things.
Okay.
I think that this is so in terms of excitement where I'm at with these 4 showcases we're talking about today, obviously Xbox number 1, Summer Games Fest number 2, Ubisoft is number 3 for me out of these 4.
I think want to be excited for Ubisoft.
I think number 1 what we're going to see is a lot of Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah.
I think we're going to see Mirage. I think we're going to see we know we're going to see Nexus, which is the VR game, and I'm really intrigued to see that. I think we're probably also going to see something from Jade, which is the phone game. Yeah. And then I think we're going to see Red, which is
Red is a...
I think Red, we close the show with Red.
Okay, Red is a bigger one.
Yes.
But yeah, Red and Mirage are the ones the two that I'm most excited for.
For those that don't remember, Red is the ninja, the next full-scale Assassin's Creed RPG. But it's the Ninja Shinobi one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for
I
that.
think they close the show with a peek at that.
Okay.
And it comes out next year. That's my thought process.
Yeah.
Number 2. Honestly, I think we're just gonna see a lot of stuff we don't care about.
Just Dance.
We're gonna see Just Dance.
Baby.
We're gonna see the next update for Rocksmith. We're gonna see, and I know people love Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah. We're gonna see the next update for Rainbow Six Siege,
which is cool.
Yeah. So like again, it was just it's gonna be a lot of stuff that I don't care about. It's gonna be like, wow, I could really cut this hour-long presentation into 20 minutes and see everything I want to see. Number 3, we know it's announced. We know it's real. Please give me Splinter Cell. I want to see Splinter Cell. Give me the gameplay. They said that they're remaking the first one for modern era. Please give it to me.
I'm worried about that game.
I am too, but show me what you got. I need to see it. Number 4, I think this is kind of a safe bet. I think all these are safe bets, to be honest. We're gonna see Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora.
Oh yeah, that's a safe.
And bet. Then number 5, we'll see X Defiant because it seems like something they want to push a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, not super exciting. I mean, I want to see a lot of the Assassin's Creed stuff, and
I mean, a lot of that stuff is really good. I feel like Ubisoft always gets a bad rep. Yeah. They're a good developer. I think
it's because they again, we talk about them chasing trends. I think it's just they have some cool stuff they're working on, but then they just feel the need to show a lot of the not cool stuff they're working on. It's like,
I guess
there is no way anyone has ever seen a Just Dance E3 demo and been like, I'm buying it. I wasn't gonna buy it before this, but I'm buying it now. I've never there's no way there's anybody that's ever been like that. I just don't buy it. I'm sorry. There's no
I guess because when they do that, I guess they announce some of the new songs that are going to be in the next Just Dance. So I think there are people who are like, I have to believe that Just Dance is big. I guess.
Oh no, it is big. It's big in the casual audience, but
I guess you're saying you're saying the people who want it are going to get it anyway. Is that?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you don't need to market this game. People know it's coming out. Like you can market it, but you don't need to market it at your E3 showcase. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
And then lastly, announced yesterday, Capcom. They said that they're going to have a showcase Monday at around, I think 6 p.m. Eastern. This is going to be about 36 minutes long. I don't have a lot of expectations for this, admittedly. And my expectations are super low. I couldn't even come up with 5 things. I came up with 4. I think you're going to get Resident Evil franchise updates. I think you're going to see something new from Monster Hunter. I think you're going to see the Exoprimal game. And then you're going to see maybe a brief layout of Street Fighter 6 post-launch content.
I mean, that all seems, yeah.
I
always feel like Capcom always does that.
The reasons I feel this way, that I don't think it's going to be a very important showcase, and I could be proven wrong. I feel like most of their showcases underwhelm me.
Yeah. A lot of their showcases are about hey, this is what's coming to our game that's already out. I think.
And also the fact that they just announced it today, less than a week out, they announced it.
They scrambled.
Yeah, for me it was just I feel like you didn't have anything to show, and last second you were yeah, put something together. We got to get out there. There's so much stuff going on this week. We have to have some sort of presence. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Well, all right, that is it for the E3 predictions, Summer Games Fest, whatever you want to call it. I'm really excited for this weekend, whether I'm getting to catch them live. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be catching all of it live this weekend, but I'm excited all the same. This is kind of like our Christmas time for gamers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The holiday season is the Super Bowl. This is Christmas time. This is let's open up these packages. And yes, it is just glorified commercials and advertisements, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. You don't know what's coming, and I'm very excited to do next week's show, which will be the review show, where we will be recapping, reviewing, and grading all of these shows. I am expecting there to not be a lot of headlines because it's just going to be us talking about those 4 shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Bruce or Jeff, is there anything that we talked about that you really want to see, whether it be from Xbox or Summer Games Fest or Ubisoft or anything?
You also talked.
Yeah.
You also talked a lot about X Defiant. I know that was something you were looking forward to as well, right?
Yeah, I would expect to see that. Oh yeah.
The old Twitch streamers were not happy. Even Asmongold started a possible boycott on Twitch, and they immediately backtracked everything. So we'll see where that leads to, but that was definitely not a good sign for the future of Twitch.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, they need to. I need to see YouTube step up a little bit and really kind of offer good competition here, and offer incentive to like have creators go there. Like the problem is YouTube is also not great to work with. I
And
mean,
there's another up and coming one called Kick. I don't know if you've heard of
no,
it.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, that's another big one that's offering a lot of like money and stuff to big streamers from Twitch who are like on the fence of leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting a lot of people over there, and it's growing. It's another option. It's another competitor. So I think yeah, yeah. Mm. Twitch is like a lot. Yeah, a lot of their top streamers are not giving contracts at Twitch, which is insane. Like their number one streamer, they didn't get a contract to. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I mean, I guess he's still making a lot of money on there, but like, I guess there's a lot of threat with is he going to go on Kick? So
It was kind of a shame that Xbox abandoned Mixer. Remember when they were doing
oh
that?
yeah, yeah,
they were gonna like compete with Twitch and they signed Ninja.
yeah.
I would have liked to have seen them. I would have liked to have
Such
seen
an easy bag for Ninja. How much they gave him? Like they offered him so much money.
just to stream somewhere else.
Yeah, and then they closed it down, and you got to keep all that money. That's insane. Like such an easy bag. For him. Yeah,
If
yeah,
any streaming service wants to pay us 10 million,
yes.
we will become exclusive.
Then we'll take one, right? We'll take 1 million.
I mean, I would say two.
Two.
It never
We'll
hurts.
split two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Split
Between the
it
three
three
of
ways.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
three-way 2 million. I could do
yeah.
that.
We'll get Forrest a couple thousand because he's going.
Yeah, he's around. We got to see if he can come back. Maybe next week will be a big roundtable episode.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah.
that would be really cool.
That would be really
We'll have
cool.
to hit him up. But all right, I think that's just gonna do it for us here at the Game Room Podcast. Exciting week coming up. I'm really looking forward to all the showcases and looking forward to playing more Zelda, and great time to be a gamer. Great year we're in right now.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing in my free time. Like,
dude,
like I told you, I didn't get to play yesterday, and it was a big deal.
Dude, I'm in
like
the process of like working, trying to find new work, and my car went kaput. So like, sharing one car, and yet I'm still just trying to find time to play Zelda, and it's working. I mean,
and I think we were talking earlier. I was trying to find out what the last game that was that captivated you this well, and it wasn't that long ago.
It was Octopath 2.
It
Yeah,
was Octopath 2, which you just played recently. Yeah. I think for me though, it was probably like Animal Crossing. Like I liked Pokemon. There were some other games I played in between. The only other game I could think of that is Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I can't wait to.
Nintendo has a way of digging their claws in.
Yeah, I can't wait to kind of do like a final review for Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, and then we're gonna do like not a tier list, but a ranking list to see where it falls on our rankings.
Because I know you already dropped you already told me Breath of the Wild's getting kicked down.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where it's like comparing Tears of the Kingdom to Breath of the Wild makes me hate Breath of the Wild because it's like it makes it like it's still a 10 out of 10 game. I say hate, but I look back on it and I'm just like, why couldn't you do this? Why couldn't you tell a good story? Why couldn't you have the world be a little bit more full? Why couldn't your puzzles be this good? Like, there's just so many things that I'm like, bro, it's like, not only did Tears of the Kingdom take the next step, like, it took the elevator to the top of the building and looked down at Breath of the Wild.
Besides the art style or whatever, they're two different games. They really are. Like,
they're not.
They are though.
They're a different way of solving puzzles, but they're still the same game.
I mean, no, they're two. Like even like I want to even compare the shrines. Even the shrines are like it's two different beasts.
No, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, exactly.
It's a whole different game.
No, but he's saying that like these streamers, they made them look at the game less fondly.
I mean, I agree. I think even if I went back as Breath of the Wild, it would feel too almost boring, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just
like the stuff that I saw today when you walked in, and like all that stuff from the Rito Village, like just having that there, it's like it gives what I was talking about. It gives that Zelda that Zelda feel that I'm looking for.
I guess I get it.
Like that's what I'm looking for.
The only I guess the biggest there are two different games. The big thing for me is that Tears of the Kingdom feels more alive. And I guess that's part of the story too, like, the threat is gone, so let's rebuild Hyrule. And you can feel that in the game, and
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Even the sign guy just going around putting up signs everywhere, like I just like that. Like
Right.
Yeah. It's just a good game.
Yeah. No, I get that. Anyways, yeah. So that's it for us here. This has been episode 28 of the Game Room Podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us here. It seems like we kind of kept with a pretty consistent number throughout the whole show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. It means the world to me and to Devroro and the producer Jeff. Please hit the like button and subscribe on your way out. Please make sure you follow us on our social medias. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow Jeff at the Broken Tables Podcast on Twitter. Don't follow Devroro. He does not want to be followed. You can join the Discord, talk video games there. We have a great time with that. If you like pro wrestling, we talk about AEW, Dynamite, and soon to be Collision. Jeff, our stream, our pay-per-view, our podcast schedule will be changing quite soon. We'll have to iron out the details about how we'll be doing the Collision review, whether it be immediately following or the next day, but I'm looking forward to figuring that out. But we will be talking about Dynamite and Collision and even pay-per-views when they happen. Thanks, guys, and we'll catch you guys next time.